Hello, everyone, and welcome to a late night episode of Vinyl the Show. In today's podcast, I'll be talking about one of my favorite albums of, I want to say, 2017, if not the best album in 2017, Flower Boy by Tyler, the Creator. This is one of my, I love this album. Like, I keep listening to it. I can't stop listening to it. It's full of great music, great little things you pick up every time you listen to it that's different. It's just such a varied album that we're not used to from Tyler. But anyway, I'll get into, I'll get into that later. So this album stems from Tyler's realization that wow, my music is really not socially acceptable. If you ever listen to Wolf, Goblin, heck, even Cherry Bomb, all of his albums are a little on the dark side for the most part. Especially songs like 48, songs like Pigs, songs like I mean it's in the name, but Death Camp. That's definitely a dark one if you look at the lyrics. But yeah. Anyway, um, good old classic Tyler the Creator there. But anyway, in this 2017 album, Flower Boy, he decided to lighten up a little bit, have some good features in there from people like Rex Orange County, Frank Ocean, Jaden Smith even in one song. I was a little surprised with that one. Steve Lacy. You you got a whole group of amazing people working on an album together, including Tyler, of course. Um, anyway, so I recently bought this album on vinyl. It was the plain black edition. It was not the really cool looking amber edition that everyone freaks out about. But it came with the poster. It came with the download code that expired last November. I think it is either last November or the November before. So that kind of sucks. But it did give me a really cool like extra tiny poster, I guess you could say, of the album cover. But the poster is really big. It's like your normal record um, sleeve size poster. Like I have a Coldplay poster from an album, and it's about the same size, give or take a few, you know, units of measurement. But anyway, it's got the lyrics on it. It's got this really cool graphic on the back that has a track listing, which surprisingly is actually the only place that has the track listing. I noticed that and thought, that's a little weird. The stickers on the record don't have them. The back of the album doesn't have them. It only has a little picture of a bee from what I remember. Anyway, um, let's get right into this. This album starts off with a track called Forward featuring Rex Orange County, which, not gonna lie, he does a great job on this song. It's mostly just Tyler being very, very introspective towards himself, what his career has led him to. Um, he makes an emphasis being extremely self-aware about how he always talks about cars throughout this entire album. I believe it's in Mr. Lonely. He makes a reference to how we're sick of him talking about cars. Skirt. Anyway, um, yeah, Forward is a great album opener, great vocals from Rex Orange County. Um, all in all, it just sets you up for the entire record. But anyway, that moves into Where This Flower Blooms featuring Frank Ocean. Frank Ocean, love Frank Ocean, huge fan. He does some great music. If you've ever listened to Moon River, ugh. But anyway, um, this song has a very orchestral opening, which was very, very neat. I loved that. I love that in all of this album. There's so many little like orchestral pieces to it, and I love that because it's very good to branch out a little bit when it comes to your production. But yeah, this song is all about Tyler relating to the kids. For example, dye your hair blue, I'll do it too. Yeah, um, he's being more open. He's being more relatable, not just the guy who, to quote Wolf, loiters in the parking lot. He's trying to connect with his fans, because the thing is, if you look at the people who like Tyler, um, you're talking about people who probably wear a lot of like Odd Future merchandise, a lot of pastels, a lot of checkered Vans. I'm guilty of that one myself. But anyway, um, his fan base now is full of people you'd expect to be listening to, say Brockhampton, for example, or the Because the Internet era Childish Gambino. Um, just your generally softer by comparison stuff compared to Tyler's old stuff. But anyway, um, that kind of reflects in this song, and obviously it's just neat that he's opening up the album at the same time that he's opening up his feelings, which is neat because we're used to Tyler always being violent and crazy. Anyway, next song, Sometimes, it's just a little interlude. Has this neat little radio host character that keeps going throughout the rest of the album. I believe in the end of Boredom and the beginning of I Ain't Got Time. Good song, by the way. But anyway, Sometimes it's just your little segue into one of the main singles off the album, See You Again, featuring, I'm gonna butcher the name, Kali Uchis. I don't know. It's something like that. I would ask Google, but it's not worth it. She is quite the singer. See You Again is a single for good reason. It's catchy. It's got horns in the background. It has a very, very good verse from Tyler. Very, very cool structure to how it's worded. What else is there to say about this song? I don't know. It's full of bad pickup lines. Like I wonder if you look both ways when you cross my mind. Stuff like that. But all jokes aside from Tyler, See You Again is probably up there in the top 3 most well-liked songs. Maybe not my personal favorites, but definitely the well-liked, recognizable Flower Boy songs. Classics, if you will, for this era of Tyler. Anyway, that moves on to a contrasting song called Who Dat Boy, featuring A$AP Rocky. This song just, it is hard. It is hardcore compared to See You Again. It has this neat little opening. It gets so ominous and dark and foreboding, and I love it. Because it's just like a little synth by itself, and then eventually it turns into the beat, sort of. Like, it just makes the noise, but then it makes the noise over and over again with different pitches. And then eventually it turns into the beat, which is really cool if you listen to the whole introduction. It really boosts the tension that the song makes right before it goes into it. So I think that's a really effective way of starting a song. Anyway, the feature from A$AP Rocky is clean. It's classic A$AP Rocky. Like, it just sounds like him. Like, if you heard it, you'd be like, oh, hey, it's A$AP Rocky. Tyler, of course, he's doing his own thing. His flow in the very last verse of his is, I don't know why, but it stuck with me for the longest time. Like, if you listen to the last, like, 30-ish seconds of Who Dat Boy, like, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it's like, smooth, good to listen to. It's like the triplet sort of thing, except it's not necessarily triplets, I don't believe. I'll have to go back and look at that. But anyway, great song. I don't think it's a single, but if they had to choose one of the more, I guess you'd say, rough songs, it would probably be this one. Anyway, on to Pothole, the one featuring Jaden Smith. This is a song about Tyler's mom, and I think that's really neat that he's writing a song about his mom. It's pretty cool. But anyway, Jaden Smith feature. Again, all the features on this album get as much light shown on them as much as Tyler does in these songs. He doesn't just say, hey, this is my song, you're featured in it. It's more of a, you're in this song. And that's especially evident in Pothole. Again, I love all the samples in this album, but Pothole really stands out for having a really, really good production, even if it's not one of the most well-liked songs on the album. Anyway, moving on to Garden Shed. As I said with Who Dat Boy, tension and building up to something is one of the most important things you can do in songwriting, and Garden Shed does that in the way of having a long vocal performance from Estelle, who's featured on this song. And then, oh my gosh, it goes into like this distorted guitar noise or something, and it just builds and builds and builds on itself. And then there's Tyler's verse that's played over it, and it is, as with Who Dat Boy, absolutely crushing, like just absolutely perfect, like just well produced, well timed, and timing is everything, especially when it comes to production. But after a short 3 minutes and 43 seconds, like the song does feel short, just because of the long opening. But anyway, after Garden Shed is probably my one of my favorite songs on this album, Boredom, featuring Rex Orange County and Anna, whatever. I think it's, pretty sure it's Anna of the North. Both of them lovely, lovely, lovely vocals, just like with Forward for Rex. But this song, just, it is, for lack of a better word, it is the song that exemplifies this album's aesthetic, its feeling, its vibe, as people would say these days. It is just a gorgeous song with a gorgeous instrumental in the background. It's just a pretty song. There's not much more to say about it. But I've always been a big fan of harmonies in songs, or adding people in right after there's only one person or one instrument playing, and then adding a bunch more in. And Boredom does that partway through. With a quick interjection from Tyler, something along the lines of, like a can y'all help me real quick, or something like that, and then like every other voice comes in. I'm like, oh, it just sounds so good to me. Like, it is just touching. It is, I can't come up with many words for this, because it is something that you have to listen to understand just how well put together this song is, with all the vocal parts, all the instrumentals. It all just meshes, which you don't get with old Tyler stuff. Like with old Tyler stuff, you get like choppy, but like lovable choppy kind of stuff. Like Wolf is one of my favorite albums of all time, other than Flower Boy, in terms of Tyler. But I will admit, there are some rough spots in that album. Not many. But Flower Boy takes those rough spots, refines them, smooths them over, touches them with a really hot iron to a wrinkled shirt that is Wolf. It is just a smoothing out of all the things that Tyler may have messed with in the past that he shouldn't have messed with. Anyway, that moves us on to a juxtaposition, sort of, called I Ain't Got Time, at a single length of about 3:26. Ooh. Again, this song is just like Who Dat Boy. This is old Tyler like sound, but with new Tyler lyrics, flow, and just professionalism. I feel like would be a good word for it. Not saying that he's not professional on Wolf or Cherry Bomb or anything, but this album has a very refined, matured feel to it, which is surprising from, Tyler the Creator, because you wouldn't expect that from him. Heck, anyone from Odd Future. But, well, except maybe Frank Ocean. But anyway. I Ain't Got Time is just, There's this one part in the middle where it's just like clapping in the background is the beat, and that's the only beat, and ooh, and they just put Tyler over it, and that's all they do with it. They don't put anything else over it. They just put the clapping and Tyler, maybe a little bit of reverb, I don't know. But it's parts like that, like it's a little snippets of certain things that make me love this album. Like there's certain things in this album that just strike a chord with me and make me think, wow, that was really good. And that was one of those cases. Okay, track number 10. Tyler's always done track number 10 being a double song. In this case, is 911 slash Mr. Lonely, featuring Frank Ocean and Steve Lacy. 911 is, ooh, a straight bop, if I'm going to use today's terminology. It has the same kind of feeling as Boredom. It's very clean. It's very refined. It's well made. But there's not much of Tyler's signature in it. Like if I felt that, if I just listened to that song and I didn't know who it was, and then I listened to a Tyler song later, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Tyler, but that must have been off like a different album or an EP or something. Like, perfectly good song. I just don't think it has Tyler's signature on it. Which then transfers into Mr. Lonely that has his handprints all over it because, dear Lord, Mr. Lonely is a great, great second half to the song. This is a very self-aware song. It deals with everything Tyler's talked about in the past. It is a culmination, I feel like, of what's been going on for this whole album, of Tyler saying all these things that he's been saying, and it's kind of him being, again, self-aware, and like we all like when our artists are self-aware, but not to a fault. But Tyler does not do this to a fault. He does it to a point of it makes the listener more introspective than Tyler probably was writing this, which is what you really aim for, you know? But anyway, that transfers into Droppin' Seeds featuring Lil Wayne. Not my favorite song on the album, but I will say it does clock in at a short 59 seconds. Literally just 59 seconds. And I'm not going to lie, while I'm not really a big fan of Lil Wayne, I kind of wanted more out of this song. I'm not going to lie. Like, I could have stuck around for another 2 more minutes. It leaves much to be desired, but not in the way of, wow, I wish that was more, that wasn't good. It's more of, that was good. Can I have like 5 more of those, please? So even if you're not really a big fan of who's featured on it, heck, if you don't like this song, I'd be surprised. Because every song has a place in this album. And while you may not enjoy one song or another, it has an important place somewhere or other. That leads me on to November. That has an extremely important place. If you've ever watched the Flower Boy A Conversation, a documentary that Tyler made, you'll understand a lot more about this album. But November is one of those songs where you can dig into the meaning or you don't have to. But this is your typical late in the album, like, sleeper track that, like, you'd go and, like, you wouldn't listen to for a while and you'd be like, oh wow, this is actually really good. And like there's the way he says November always makes me laugh because it says like November or something like that. But like again, it's Tyler. Like that's his touch. That's what makes him Tyler. And this song has plenty of those moments. Plenty of them. But my favorite late album track has got to be Glitter. Glitter is an amazing song. Features 2 pitch-shifted parts, one high, one low, of Tyler. And it's supposed to be a voicemail. Like if you were to call this a concept album, this would be a voicemail to the main love interest. But oh my gosh, Glitter again, wonderful vocals. Just like this whole album has wonderful vocals. Like obviously not including Tyler, but like I mean vocal parts. And in the very beginning, like the song doesn't sound well structured when you listen to it at the very beginning because the singer's a little weird. But then you start listening to it more and you're like, no, this is actually really good. This is enjoyable. And then like it's one of the songs that grows on you the more you listen to it. And I love those. But once that's over, it transfers into Enjoy Right Now Today, which is an instrumental track, which, gosh, if Tyler could do more instrumental tracks, that'd be great. If you're listening to this, Tyler, please make more instrumental tracks. I know you've been working on a lot of them, but more, please. Like this. Um, it's a great album closer. It really sums up everything, even though it's just instrumental. It's gorgeously produced, very lush sounding, ties everything together well. It's if you ever watch Sunday Morning, and they say at the end, and after today's show, we leave you at, and then I don't know, they take you like a national park or like somewhere in the middle of Alaska where there's a bunch of moose or whatever. That's kind of what this song is. It's like we leave you now in this, and then they start playing the song. It's like that environment, and it's just a great place to have the listener stop, think about what they heard, and let them enjoy quite literally right now today. But anyway, Flower Boy by Tyler the Creator, one of my favorite albums of all time. If you haven't listened to it, highly recommend it. You don't have to listen to all his stuff, but Flower Boy is a definite listen from me. Hope you guys are enjoying my podcast. I have some news. There's a local record store called Tom's Music Trade. Love the guy. Tom's an amazing person. If you get to know him, then you'll know he's a good dude. Like floor to ceiling crates of records upon records upon records from every genre, every artist you could think of. If you like digging, that's the place to go. There you go. Go to Tom's. But I'm doing an interview with him for a school project. Final of the show is going to be part of a school project of mine called Passion Project, in which I'm going to be doing a podcast about both Record Store Day, which is coming up April 13th for Tom, and an interview about Tom, what his life has been like, any fun stories about the shop. But hopefully you guys will enjoy those two podcasts as well. I'm sorry I haven't been posting recently. I've been under a lot of stress with work, both schoolwork and actual work. I have a job now, but I'm glad I could come back to an audience that wants to listen. So thank you guys very much for sticking around. It means a lot, especially when, this is only my 5th episode of the Actually, no, I think this is my 6th episode, and I just mislabeled it. Anyway, I'll fix that in post, whatever. Alright, hope you guys have a good night if you're in my time zone. So, sleep well. And everyone, have a good night. Go listen to Flower Boy. This is Final the Show, signing off.